Okay, guys, welcome to the Thursday edition of the Sponsor Showdown. I'm going to have a little bit of echo in my earphones, and I may have to experiment with that if it keeps going the whole show. Melissa, I think I'm going to have to pause, guys, because I can't talk with the echo in my headphones. But I can do the presentation part, and then we'll pause to troubleshoot why I can't hear the audio through my computer.
Okay, that sounds good, Sheree.
Okay, guys, sorry, there's some kind of a glitch where my Google Hangouts isn't broadcasting onto my computer, so I had to put my headphones on, and that didn't work. Okay, so what we're going to be talking about today is we're doing another demo. The first section of this class will be a demo campaign, and we're going to go through an example of a campaign outline. And the reason we're starting the optimization series, all the series will be demonstrating each class by class, all the principles in optimization that we would be covering through slides, but instead doing it as actual implementations because we had a ton of requests for the over-the-shoulder stuff. And here on Thursdays, I'm going to also do a second implementation before we get into the Q&A so that you guys get a good example of how things get rolled out. And the reason we started week 1 of optimization with keywords is because I have to say, no matter what you do in your campaigns, you'll have no success optimizing your campaigns if the initial keywords are not right or structured correctly. So I think that in terms of a lot of things I see when I receive a campaign, I'd say 90% of the time, campaign structure is the first thing that's really a mess and just not going to work with the algorithm. But the other thing that I see that is a huge mess is when people are actually not targeting the correct keywords or not approaching those keywords in a way where they can be really optimized and managed at scale. So the reason we're going to start this week, and we went on Tuesday and today both with examples of keyword segmenting, campaign segmenting, and build, is because we want to make sure that you get your keywords right and your targeting right before you even try to optimize your campaign, since it will be somewhat of an epic fail even with the best campaign structure if the initial keyword research isn't coming from the right direction. Now, today's example is a little bit different than what we did last week. On Tuesday, actually, it feels like last week. It was only a couple days ago. On Tuesday, we covered a campaign that was brand new, products that are brand new, which everyone's going to have. You're going to go to market with a brand new product. How are you going to do the keyword research? How are you going to structure that campaign? Now, in today's session, we're actually looking at a product that had campaign history. It had an existing CTR, an existing STR for us to analyze and review. And now we're going to go ahead and look at that and determine how we would re-segment that data. So the first thing we're going to talk about is, okay, so this is a product. This is if I could go over here into my view. Okay, so this is a bubble product for kids, and there are 2 different components to this product. And this is another key lesson in terms of segmenting your products and segmenting your ASINs, right? Because there are 2 key parts to this. The kit itself has like the bubble concentrate, a small amount, and then it has the bubble concentrate and it has the bubble wands, right? So it's a set. But the other piece to this are just the bubble wands. So when you start to see that people are out looking for this stuff, they are absolutely looking at both pieces. But what you can see when you go down to like frequently bought together is that people buy these like ginormous packages, and I went to Yasif to verify it, but people buy these like ginormous packages of bubble solution, and they're doing that in conjunction with these wands and this kit. So when I look at this product, it seems, as when you look at the entire path to purchase, this is definitely for kids' parties. Without question, it's going to be an entertainment thing and a family thing, of course, but it really seems to be something that they're buying for party favors and for like outdoor events with their kids, right? So we went ahead and because the wands are on their own page, as they should be, and they're separate from the kit, as it should be. The one thing that you would have here in this campaign structure is that you would actually go ahead and advertise the same keywords once I went in and did the keyword research for this product. So here's like your basic on the very like seed keyword bubble. And you can see that it's bubble and it's party favors for kids. They buy bubble machines, they buy bubble guns, bubble wands. It's for kids. So you get an idea on the general kind of flavor of this, that this is just a party favor for kids. And another thing I think that's important to point out on this product with these keywords is when I went over to a tool called Yasif that lets me visualize like the popularity of these products. And again, this is a very well branded product doing very well because of its branding. So when I go and select these products and look at this kind of funnel in Yasif, this is yasif.com, I could really see here that people are buying all of this together. Like they're kind of buying it, you know, in at least searching through it. Like here's our product, but only like one step away is this ginormous tub of bubble solution. And over here, there's bubble solution, and over here, bubble solution. So the other thing I noticed is when people buy the bubble solution, they also buy these machines. Now, so when I looked at this, to me, I didn't think that any of these needed to be negatives, because when we're talking about getting our ads on product pages in the customer's path to purchase, I found that this entire path to purchase is sort of kind of blanketed around this like party favor theme. So in my thoughts, it wouldn't be crazy for someone doing this party theme to maybe buy the machine to do the bubbles and get the wands to do the big bubbles. So in my thought, none of these keywords that we see here need to be negatives. I feel like the entire path to purchase, at least the ones that really relate, there's a few, if you kind of look in terms of like detergent and things that reflect dish soap, you know, but that's not going to happen. The majority of the people coming through this funnel are looking for bubble products. So I don't think these negatives need to be filtered, unlike our lesson on Tuesday where we had a really kind of close, like, you know, competitors in the BSR with different product qualifiers that required a lot of negatives right out the gate. This product does not need, again, we don't want to over filter our traffic by trying to be too aggressive with negatives. So with this one, I didn't think negatives were really essential to make the build work. Now, the other note that I want to put here is that this campaign has quite a bit of history. And this is the more recent STR. And I was, you know, analyzing it here, which we can clear this out. This is our most recent STR from just 7/22 through 8/20. But I know from my email exchange with Shooky that this campaign has been going for quite a bit longer. This is a well-established, very well-branded product. So I know that I have a little more history than what I'm seeing in the recent STR done in our current structure. So with that, I went ahead to the campaign manager and I went into the campaign that's had the most history historically. And I went ahead and pulled down just the keywords historically lifetime so that I could get a sense of what's worked lifetime in this campaign versus what, of course, we're going to be working on today. And then, or what we're seeing today in the STR. So when I look at the lifetime stats on this, it's really the same keywords. People are coming for giant bubbles and they're coming from big bubbles. And they're also really in the keyword research. And I pulled so many different sheets. I was trying to determine right out the gate, would this bubble kit right here need to be different than this bubble wand, right? So I went ahead and I pulled down how people search for the wand, looking specifically at that kind of, you know, mid-tail phrase. And honestly, it's so about party favors. And I think when you see the search volume here, it's really apparent that the sales are not just coming out of people looking for bubble wands. I mean, the sales are coming because people are looking for outdoor toys and they're looking for party favors. And this product, the way it's branded, is appealing to them. So when I look at the data for this, I don't think, okay, we're only closing deals out of bubble wands and we're only closing deals out of just, you know, just these particular searches, bubble kits. I think that realistically everything, all the keywords relate to both products. And I sorted it a million different ways. And like I showed you, I went to Yasif and I really kind of poked around to decide, okay, how would this be segmented? It's very important. Another important detail in this is that this product here sells about 70% of the entire volume, but this product over here sells about 30%, right? So it's actually, even though it's really, you really wouldn't just say that this is the best seller, because this in itself, the wands versus the kit, the wands are a very kind of almost a standalone product, regardless of their volume, because of the simple fact that people already have this big gallon of bubble solution. Maybe they have it under, I mean, you think about it this way, someone's bought 5 gallons of bubble solution. they're probably not running out anytime soon. So they may come looking for the big bubble wands, but not need the kit because they've got this mega thing of bubble stuff. And they have it here too. You can see in all of the Yasif kind of related searches, people have this like mega tub of bubble solution. So to me, it seems like people are going to come in here and not maybe need the kit. They may just have the mega tub still sitting under their counter. We all know what it's like to be parents, right? They probably have a million party supplies from this year, last year, the other child, many children. They have the 5-gallon tub still there that they bought on Amazon of solutions. So they're going to come back on all keywords and look for these wands, especially if they're doing like a party favor where they're going to need to buy multiples, right? So another thing to consider in this, Shooky, on your stuff is remember, I don't know, you won't get to see your brand halo in the sponsored products reports at this point in time as clearly as possible. But I bet that you see a ton of multiple add to carts and big, a decent side of people are ordering more than one a lot of the time. So you probably want to account that into your calculations on what you can afford in terms of lifetime value and overall value in advertising this product. So the next thing that I went in the existing campaign, right? I go to Campaign Manager. This is the existing campaign that was already there. So when I analyze this campaign and this campaign history, it looks awesome. So like I've covered in the other classes, I would have not in any instance gone ahead and built a new campaign for this product. I would have used the existing campaign shell with such awesome history, with all these keywords doing so well. I would have used that existing campaign and just simply created some new ad groups within that campaign to capitalize on the history. And then more importantly, to capitalize on the lower bids that I had put in to win that market over a long period of time, right? You've been advertising this product for a really long time. You've been in the market a long time. You're very well established. It would be absolutely nasty for somebody to try to compete with you. And I think you want to take advantage of those lower bids that you've kind of locked in from having this product established for so long. So with that in mind, I would have built this into the exact same campaign shell that you're seeing these keywords come out of. Now, another thing to keep in mind with this campaign is it was driving awesome sales, but everything was on broad match, right? Everything is on broad match as you see this match type. So when you're taking a lot of broad match keywords out of your old campaigns into new campaigns, you need to keep in mind that broad match is not a relevant exact match search. So for example, when I go to pull these keywords with 5+ orders to put them into scale, obviously, everything related to giant and big and large are going to be completely relevant for me as exact match, right? I know that is my mid-tail shop keyword, right? Those are my most important keywords. People talk about giant, they talk about big. That's what defines my product. You can see here, my USP is a big bubble. Now, if in my broad match keywords from my old stuff, I'm seeing a lot of stuff here that is like just a plain bubble kit, right? I'm going to highlight these. Or it's just something like kids bubbles. Those cannot go into my new scale group. Even though they have sales, they shouldn't go into the new scale group as exact match for the simple fact that they don't define the product enough to know that as exact match, they're going to work. They may have worked historically as a broad match, but they wouldn't work necessarily as an exact match keyword because a broad match brings back a much more broad group of matches and a much more broad audience and a lot more broad placements. So if I'm trying to go, okay, outdoor games for kids converted as broad match, probably doesn't mean it's going to convert as exact match, and definitely not competitors' names, right? We know those aren't going to convert as well as exact match. They're better for product placement. And this product has a lot of great placement. Bubble concentrate, again, may have worked as a broad match because there's all sorts of broad places that Amazon would put that. But it probably wouldn't work as an exact match keyword in scale because it doesn't really define the product. Once we shift from broad to exact match, I need to be sure I'm talking about this product, right? I need to be talking about giant and big and large bubbles. So I move over here to my new campaign outline. The way that I would have built this, I would have stayed in the existing campaign, which is right here. I would have taken the existing campaign and I would have peeled these main keywords that I've highlighted in blue into single keyword ad groups, right? Go ahead, we'll do another highlight here so you guys can see. these these keywords have 792 orders, 654 orders, 450 orders, right? All the way down. They're kind of multiple variations of one another, but the general idea is that it's giant bubbles, giant bubble wand, right? I'm going to look at those keywords that have driven the majority of my sales. And then when you get down here, a lot of these are just kind of variations of these keywords, and they'll go into scale. But these ones, these top ones right here that drove 792 orders, 654 orders, 450 orders, 407 orders, I am definitely going to do everything I can to kind of move those over into into their own single keyword ad groups. Okay, so from there, I go and I do a new campaign outline. And because these two products, based on the way people shop, this is really just a party gift. And it's not as if it's a particular like style thing, right? People are shopping for both the wands and the kit. And we're going to find a lot of overlap there where we won't know what they need based on their query. When they put in giant bubbles, we really don't know if they already have, we've already seen over here on Amazon, do they already have this big tub of solution under their cabinet? Because if they do, they're not buying the kit. They've already got this, right? I mean, I don't know if anyone could go through 5 gallons of bubble stuff without the machine. Maybe you could, but it could easily be under their counter. So when I look at this, I say, okay, with that in mind, this product is a perfect example of where you would rotate 2 product ASINs in one single ad group, right? For the simple fact that they go together and you have no way of defining when someone's going to buy it with or without the liquid. And because you can't do that, you're better to rotate them. And not only on that, both of these products, they get about 70-30 on sales. And the other thing is, both of these products, they are easily defined, but they both come in at a similar ACOS, similar performance, similar click-through. So when you rotate these two, I looked at the campaign history and the campaign manager, which I'm going to keep private for the client. But when I look at this, the one thing that I thought was just crazy is the simple fact that, they perform the exact same. So when it comes to an advantage of taking the best seller in this, particular instance, because you can't self-select and just get the wands from the liquid, which is totally sensible the way this should be built, you have to put these both into all the keywords. You have to rotate them. They are of equal performance, and there won't be any damage to the campaign by doing that. So going back in, I would be building these single keyword ad groups out into the original campaign shell that we have right here. And then this right here are all the keywords that performed originally from the best performing ad group, right? So with this in mind, these are all broad match. So how am I going to go ahead and match those up? What I'm going to do with these, I'm going to do a broad and a phrase single across all of them. And then I'm going to do my scale 2+ in the same different ad group in the same exact campaign that already exists. And I'm going to go ahead and I would also do an additional 2 headline search banners, one targeting just giant bubbles with the word giant in the headline, and one targeting big bubbles with the big bubble keywords with big bubble in the headline. I would put those together. I don't think it'd be necessary because, again, we don't know if they just want the wands or they want the bubbles. I don't know that you would do tremendously well on the segments with this. I would start out doing, if you need to peel a single keyword out later, I would, but I would start out just targeting your headline search ads with these particular products as a secondary step after all of this was up and running. And again, we already have STR data showing that even in the new structure, these are still the keywords that are making it happen, the giant and the big bubbles, right? So we know that we're still going after this keyword set. So I would be thinking about headline search and, of course, segmenting it out and doing a better job on the segments here. But I would consider a giant, at the bare minimum, a giant and a big bubble headline search banner, and maybe segment it further by keyword. So the other thing that we talk about over here is taking those scale 2+ keywords as exact. Those all went in to their own, right, into their own scale 2+ ad group. And the key there is removing all the irrelevant stuff that probably wasn't going to work in terms of it didn't include the modifier large or big or giant or jumbo. It didn't include any of these modifiers that really kind of nailed it. This little guy, he crept in, he wouldn't be there. So those would all go into scale. And then from here, the other thing is the bubble kit, the original campaign that we looked at here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pause this, right? So these, I'm not going to necessarily pause the whole group in this instance though, right? Because let's look at this. There's a lot of keywords working here, and I'm only going to mine out the exact match. These are all at broad, right? They're already working. They're already jamming. I could easily just go in and pause these keywords, right? Just pause this little batch of keywords down here and get those paused because they're going to be up here in singles. I don't want duplicates, so I'm going to pause those. But there's no reason. I've only moved all the other variations as exact. You could move these broad match keywords from over here into your scale group, absolutely, as broad match as well. But since you've already got history and they're kind of running here in this campaign, you could easily just keep this particular ad group running and just know that's, where all your original keywords were at because you've already paused the ones that are driving the majority of sales. You've taken everything out as exact match and put a higher bid on scale. Now, in terms of your bidding structure, I would be very focused. You've already got the top positions. You've ranked all over Amazon. Amazing. The only thing I would say is probably, hedging your brand a little bit stronger on giant and big with a headline banner, featuring, both products, both the wands and the kit. And then I think from here, though, as you go through, you have your scale built, you've got all of this done. I think that I think that keeping it in the same campaign, you're going to see tremendous success. And when you keep it in the same campaign, I think you could stay within the existing bidding structure because you're ranked now. And even if you've pushed your bids up slightly in a separate campaign, I would definitely come back to the original bids. These are the 2 cents above your original bids. You've got, I would set these slightly above the bids that you already had on these, and these are ranking. Now, if they weren't ranking in the number 1 spots, it'd be a different game, but these are already ranking. So I'm just going to set these single keyword AdWord groups just kind of slightly above your bid. You would be able to tier these bids slightly as we start to go through these, keeping it a little bit higher on your broad match. But the thing that you have here is you already have a minimum. Since you haven't tested broad, sorry about that. Since you haven't tested broad here, you haven't tested phrase. You've tested broad extensively and it works. The only kind of wild card here is testing the phrase at a slightly, let me get this right. Sorry, I had a tech issue right before class, which is no fun. I'm not used to Thursday class, and of course my headphones wouldn't work. So let's lower these phrase bids a bit. Okay, so I'm lowering my phrase bid and I'm bidding a little bit more on broad in this instance. I kept scale a little bit higher than everything else because it's all those exact matches. It may still get boosted up a little bit as we optimize. So the main thing you want to keep in mind here is just that by mining all of this out into the existing group with bids set slightly higher on the broad match, slightly lower on the phrase match, you're going to start to kind of tweak these and see how performance goes. But you're going to see a lot more traffic in that existing campaign that was already doing so well versus setting up a whole new campaign without any history and having to kind of play that, that increased bid. You may have to bid more in a new campaign than you would this old one without question. And you also want to leverage those low bids that you've already secured in the original campaign, and the history in the original campaign is strong, right? That's why this one group that I'm seeing come out of there is so good. With these kind of ACOSs and these kind of conversion rates, I really just don't see any reason in this instance to take, this isn't an STR, it's just my campaign manager lifetime. I just don't really see any reason to go ahead and pull out of this campaign because there's no benefit to it. There's just a lot more benefit staying within that structure and staying within that bid range that you had. So that's how I would segment out an existing campaign with an existing STR, existing keyword history. I wouldn't be going heavy on the negatives because the way people shop for this. So this is our kind of short kind of quick tutorial on how to go ahead and do campaign optimization on Thursday, which is a new thing for me. And I'm going to need to pause my mic and do some troubleshooting before I can go into Q&A, because I don't have headphones, and with the new Google Hangout setup, I won't be able to hear you guys. So I have to reboot a few things, and I'll be back in about 5 minutes. Hey, Melissa, are you out there?
I am. Hello.
Through.
Hello?
Yeah, I can see that you're talking on the other screen. I can't hear. For some reason, my output is not allowing me to hear you do the Google Hangouts today.
Oh,
Um, I don't know that we could do a Q&A. I can't do it with my headphones in the other computer, and then there's an echo if I turn it on here.
let's see here. So
Hmm.
it's just one computer you can't hear it from?
Gosh, amazing to maybe we need to stop the whole thing and then come back on after we troubleshoot it. I wouldn't know how to get the Hangout to play here. I'm not sure why it's not. I haven't changed any settings on my end. You can hear the train in the background. I have my
I
windows open.
can't.
Yeah, give me 1 minute here. I apologize, guys. I can't hear the Hangout through my computer speakers. I don't know why it's not doing it. Um, and I could maybe try to go completely with my computer mic to the other computer. Does that seem to be working over there? I just don't get why it's not working here. Um,
Michael's got a
okay, great.
message for you on Slack.
Michael, how do I do that? I'm watching your thread in Slack. Tell me how I do that. Okay, guys, I'm going to check this in Hangouts because I haven't changed anything in my settings.
Yep, so the
My
gearbox at the
microphone is
top,
on.
that
I can see
setting,
Melissa's trying to talk. You guys can see that too. Um, yeah, it's internal speakers.
go down and see what those are.
Everything
Mhm.
is still the same. My mic is on the Mix Pre 3. The speakers are here. Sorry, guys, you know, watch me troubleshoot this, but I want to make sure I get it right. Um, it should just be the default, I think.
Maybe use that and see if in the drop down, there's a different one.
I don't, huh. See, and I'm still like, I've got her completely turned up and I can't hear her. Um, yeah, Michael's trying to help me troubleshoot, guys. It's the same settings as every single week. I haven't changed anything in these settings. I could try to maybe restart. That would be my only solution is to stop the broadcast, Michael, and let me try to restart because I can't hear anything. And like I said, I haven't changed anything in my settings, like nothing in here. And I rebooted everything, so I'm totally puzzled why it's not working. Okay, Michael. Yeah, okay, so good. Will you shut down the broadcast for a minute so that I can I'll wait till I'm not live and then I'll go ahead and try to reboot one more time.